From the demented digs of the third dimension comes the in-your-face, eye-popping third installment of our favorite unhappy campers. The hockey mask origin, blood-splattered cabin of cruelty that is 1982's Friday the 13th, Part 3. With enough 3D gags to drown an unattended mutated child, this installment finds us at a summer cabin chock full of teenagers and a slew of new and interesting ways to murder them. How many times do you need to taunt a bike gang before they get the point? Does a hammock make for good couples coitus? How many ounces of weed can you eat before getting pulled over? And would Will Smith slap me for making a Jason Voorhees alopecia joke? I hope you guys have enough half-eaten snacks at the corner store, made sure your joke box is full of Shelby props, and have your axes on hand, because we're in for another Friday the 13th in 3D.
Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise. Whoa. Oh, that's fantastic.
So good. If What the Actual Fuck was a movie, out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
That's right, we're back. Chuddle the Pod in your face with another episode on a Friday the 13th movie. Why? Why am I talking? Why? It's because it's Friday the 13th. We're going through the franchise. I've never seen them.
Why?
Oh shit, we got a little wire drop. I am here with our friends Bryan and Ross.
Huh?
Say hi.
Oh, hi.
Good. Huh? Cool. Tonight we are covering Friday the 13th Part 3. It is currently not on any streaming service right now, so
Yeah.
you gotta rent it or get a physical copy. Huh? What?
Huh?
Exactly.
If you're new to the show, how's your catchphrase?
Yeah.
Sup?
Huh?
Huh? Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
Precisely.
Nice. If you're new to the show, we do a spoiler-free summary up top. Usually that's kind of to give you an idea of whether or not you want to watch the movie without knowing too much about it first. But in the case of the Friday the 13th Part 3, I don't know why we're doing it. Just for funsies. Because it's the structure of the show. Now, follow Ross at Ross Purvis on Instagram. Follow me, Chuddle the Sam, on Letterboxd. You can follow the podcast, Chuddle the Pod, Instagram and Slasher. Jump into our Discord. All that stuff is in the show notes.
Down below.
We do have it's in the little info on your podcast, wherever you're listening. We do have a very real Patreon. We love our patrons. We got to shout out our Coven of Witches. Their sacrifice gives us life, and we thank their beautiful souls.
We thank you, beautiful souls.
If you like the show, rate and review, be a friend, tell a friend. Telling your friends, spreading word of mouth is really the best thing that would help us out. That quick IMDb description of Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, the third. Jason Voorhees stalks a group of friends who's just arrived to spend the weekend at a cabin near Crystal Lake. That's all you get, which is good enough. I mean, that is what it is. Yes.
Yeah, no. Getting through this entire series, I really wonder if someone's made like a geographical map out of because I mean,
where
he's
each
just
location is.
Yeah, because I'm getting this visualization that he's just systematically making the entire perimeter of the lake his.
Oh, sure.
I suppose so. How big is that lake altogether? Because in this one, this is clearly some little inlet or something. It's got to be. This is not Crystal Lake proper.
Well, yeah, when we can get into...
We'll get into that. Movies are made by people, and the people that made this movie are Friday the 13th Part 3, directed by Steve Miner. He did the second one. He also did House, which I've watched since we did 2, which was a lot of fun. Written by Martin Kit Rosser, Carol Watson, and Victor Miller. Martin Kit Rosser has done a ton of stuff. A lot of times it's like script supervisor or something, but basically every Quentin Tarantino movie he was the script supervisor for. The Rush Hour movies, Hall Pass, Dumb and Dumber 2, Dumb and Dumber. He's been everywhere. So that's a fun little thing. But the only movies he's written are this and Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Everything else is like
Okay.
behind the scenes.
Interesting. Okay.
Cast in this movie, we have Dana Kimmel as Chris, Tracy Savage as Debbie, Richard Brooker as Jason, Gloria Charles as Fox, Rachel Howard as Chili, Paul Kraka as Rick, David Katniss as Chuck, Kevin O'Brien as Loco, Catherine Parks as Vera, Nick Savage as Ali. And I think those are the main people we need to mention.
Sure.
Don't know any of these people
yeah.
from anything. I don't even know how many of them acted after this. I know the guy who played Shelley never acted again. He's a lawyer now.
One of them went on to be like a news reporter.
Yeah, I think Debbie, Tracy Savage.
That sounds right.
Speaking of savage, how savage was the gore in this movie?
Nice. I like that. I wasn't ready.
Ooh,
But I like
good.
it.
That was good.
Fatality.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the Sadness, how gory was this movie? What do we think?
I give it a 4.
Intensity? 4 total?
Yeah. 2 for consistency, 2 for intensity. I felt it was pretty tame.
I could go there too.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of kills in it, but I feel like they were tamed down, which I don't know we can talk about. But I think it had the same thing happen to it, like with 2, where the scenes were a lot gorier, but then got cut due to ratings and all that kind of shit.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say 5. I would say 5 because there's a few really good little
I was gonna say 5 too. I was gonna change mine from 4 to 5.
But I'd be comfortable 4.25. How about 4.5? There we go.
Yeah, right down the middle. Makes sense.
So Ross is in the middle, so he's right this time.
See how that worked?
Who is the horror for? The horror for? Who is the horror for?
Horror for Roar sure.
Subgenres hang for beginners. What are we thinking? Subgenres, slasher, camp. I mean, we're gonna hit on a lot of the same stuff with these other ones.
Same stuff that we hit in the first 2.
3D fans, I guess, if you like watching 3D ass movies.
80s,
if you're a
3D.
fan of if you're a fan of 3D gags, holy crap. There is a lot of 3D gags in this movie.
Yeah.
I think, I would say for beginners, this is a weird one just because I know so many people that actually started with 3 and then backtracked.
That makes sense to me.
Makes sense.
I was going to say
what a lot
this
of
could
people
be
probably
for
tell
beginners,
people
definitely.
to do. Yeah.
And I would say it's good to hang or by yourself. It could go either way.
Yeah, I think from this point in the series, it's a lot of these are going to be like great in groups or honestly really good by yourself.
But I could see this being a ton of fun. Like had we all watched this together and been able to crack wise as we do, chuddle it, if you will.
Well,
great. I think all of that is accurate for what we're talking about. Who is it not for?
Agree. I concur.
I didn't have any huge warnings with this one.
I didn't write anything down.
I literally don't. I mean, the only thing is that a rabbit gets killed, but not the same rabbit. It's not like part 2 with the dog, and you know what I mean? Like it's not even this, but in this one there is a rabbit death.
The rabbit dies? I don't remember that.
Me neither.
Or
is it a dead rabbit?
Yeah. No.
Okay,
it's a dead rabbit.
We do see a dead
I think
rabbit.
it's just to allude to the fact that it's possibly the same rabbit, but it's
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, right? Anyway, no. Otherwise, no, I wouldn't say any real kind of big ones.
If you've signed on for the first 2, there's nothing that's going to be shocking or alarming with this one.
Yeah. Who picked it? Why in the history? I picked it because I haven't seen any of the Friday the 13th movies, as mentioned. So we're just moving through the franchise.
We're following you on your journey.
Yes,
through Camp
and our
Crystal Lake.
journey.
Yeah, it is.
You guys are going with me. The listener and my friends here that I'm talking to, Bryan and Ross. Hi.
Hey.
Do you guys have any particular relation to this movie, or we can keep going?
Yeah, we can keep going. I think it's going to be similar to And I probably said this last time.
You did,
too.
but I figure there's got to be at least one or two that are like standouts from the franchise, right?
Once we go,
we'll get there. Okay.
No, three's got
a
special place in my heart. Like I actually have a part 3 bust in my house of first
what?
Hawk. It's that first Hawk. It's that first hockey mask that gets you. You know what I mean?
Oh, the first hockey mask. I was like, first Hawk. God
the first Hawk, man.
What is
this movie just has hawks. It's very strange. It's nothing like any other Friday the 13th.
Like, it's something us F-13 fans say. Hawk.
Hawk, yeah.
First Hawk, second Hawk.
Is that enough 3? No, yeah.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't agree. I definitely... My only history with it is I do remember probably this. At this point, I've seen these ones more than what we have before. Couldn't tell you when it happened, but I do remember. This is in my brain of remembering a lot of this shit.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know when it started.
When did it start?
My wife and I were just talking about this. Is that so? We try getting into a lot of the Friday the 13th films, and for whatever reason, we always pick 3 to start off with. But then we really haven't gone past 3 together. So she's like, I was watching it for the show.
3 sometimes.
Oh, no, dude, it's funny. I will watch the other installments, but she's like, I really want to get into this. All right, we'll just watch 3. She's like, I think I've seen 3 at least 5 times now, but I haven't seen like the further down the road. I was like, then we should just jump the shark and just do whatever installment you want to at this point.
Well, she can join the
do
journey
it along
with us.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be watching.
We're going to be doing all 10. That's the commitment, right? You have to watch 10
at some point.
10 times, though, right?
I mean,
50.
There's certainly one that I wouldn't mind taking, but I don't want to just like jump on all of them.
Yeah, if there's one that you'd be interested in leading, I'd love to do a different one.
When we go to Manhattan, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all over it.
Same for you, Ross. If there's a particular one that you would pick for yours, you're welcome to do so.
Part 7. I'm a huge.
I mean, there's
part
others,
4 and part 7 were like some of the. You'll find out. You'll find out, Sam.
All right, great. So at this point, we are going to go ahead and get into spoilers. So if you don't want to know more about it, go ahead and watch it and come back and listen to it. Otherwise, it's time for the 666 Crucible of Questions.
Spoiler zone.
All right. So I've been wanting to put a little recap in here in case you haven't seen it in a while or in case you haven't seen it at all. Hopefully this will help. So this particular recap I got from AI. What's up? You're not the only one who's friends with AI.
What? AI? Oh, man.
Who's your AI?
I haven't asked its name yet. I asked it to give me a good recap for Friday the 13th, Part 3. And this is what I got. The movie was released in 1982 and directed by Steve Miner. It's the 3rd installment in the Friday the 13th franchise, and the first to feature Jason wearing his iconic hockey mask. The film followed...
The Hawk,
yeah. As it will be referred to from here on out. Yes. For every movie that we cover.
And we're not ever coming back to it. It's referencing from, the Hawk.
The Hawk, dude.
Exactly. The film follows a group of friends who go on a trip to a lake house owned by Chris, one of the main characters. Unbeknownst to them, Jason is lurking in the area, having survived the events of the previous movie. Jason begins to pick off the friends one by one using various weapons such as a machete, a harpoon gun, and even his bare hands. Some of the memorable kills in the movie include a character getting their head crushed in a vice, another getting a hot poker through the chest, and one being hung from barn rafters. I think it's the hands, not a vice.
It's not a vice. That's what it's saying. That's not, yeah.
The final showdown takes place between Chris and Jason, with Chris managing to knock off Jason's mask and escape. Which hits him with the axe in the head and runs away in reality. Yeah. The film ends with Jason still alive and presumably on the loose.
No.
Believe it ends with him dead in a barn.
AI, yeah, this is great.
Well, this will be good for the future. We could just do this as our lead in, and that'll be like, well,
exactly.
That's great. Actually, okay, all right. I'm back.
We can ask ChatGPT to write our summaries or recaps. Overall, Friday the 13th Part 3 is considered a classic slasher movie and a fan favorite in the franchise. The end.
Got about 80-20.
Yeah, pretty good, but fun when it's not
better than I expected, honestly.
Yeah, I was impressed. Okay, behind the scenes. Again, ton of stuff to do. The entire actually, I guess a couple of these were notes taken from me watching features on the Blu-ray, which unfortunately this did not have any of the like cut death scenes, because you were exactly right, Brian. That did happen again, and I do have a little list here at some point of what it was. I saw that. The entire production was more focused on getting the technical aspects of the 3D correct. Everything else fell to the side. Like, the whole thing was like, we are trying to get this shit. So everything was just getting the shots right. 32. The guy who played Jason said it was 32 takes to get the 3D effect on shoving the poker through the lady. When the hot poker that he shoves through her. They shot it 32 times.
That's insane.
Because it's all about getting the camera, everything
that perfect.
Right. They had to reshoot the first two scenes of the movie they shot because they didn't get stuff right. That when Shelley throws the wallet in the convenience store, he had to like throw it directly at the camera.
He was throwing it so much and he kept missing it because it's a hard shot to pull off. Everyone was getting pissed off at him.
Come on, Shelley.
The house, barn, and lake were all purpose-built on location. The man-made lake wasn't properly sealed, and subsequently the water drained into the soil during the first week of filming. So I'm just imagining they're all like sludging through muck for...
that's real nasty.
The original plan for the movie involved Ginny from the first one at a psychiatric hospital, suffering from trauma afflicted from the ordeal with Jason. She finds that intent on revenge, he's tracked her down, and he starts murdering staff and other patients at the hospital. But then she decided she didn't want to do any more of the movies, which she later said she regrets. To prevent the film's plot being leaked, the production used the fake title Crystal Japan after a David Bowie song. This began an on-again, off-again tradition of giving Friday the 13th films David Bowie song titles during filming. That's such a fun tidbit. I hope we find out the other ones as we go.
As do I.
Part 7 was Moon Age Daydream. Larry Zerner was cast as Shelley when the producer spotted him handing out flyers for a horror movie and asked him if he wanted to star in one.
That's awesome.
Good for him.
Shelley is just being Shelley in this movie.
Shelley gonna Shelley.
Sad sack.
His name is.
Larry's gonna Larry.
He is... I have such conflicting feelings about him. We'll get there.
Yes, we will.
Martin J. Sadoff, the film's 3D effects supervisor, is responsible for the trademark hawk. Sadoff kept a bag full of hockey gear on set because he was an avid hockey fan, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I love hockey, I'm just going to keep a bag full of hockey gear. Right. I bet he must have played hockey. Like,
I love hockey enough that I just keep a bunch of it in my trunk of my car. Yeah. I'm not to be bothered from taking it out.
And I think this is another... one of those situations that happened with the pop out of the water, who claims it to be their thing. A lot of different people claim responsibility for the hawk, I think.
I believe it.
Or a lot of them will be like, well, I thought about it, and then it kind of like, he's like, oh, that was a good idea. And then this came over here. Yeah. A lot of people want to claim the hawk.
That makes sense. Chris's past encounter with Jason was originally intended to imply sexual assault. The series was meant to conclude with this movie, but the writers wanted audience pleased with Jason's demise, so they decided to try and make him look like a racist, but not racist, rapist. That would both work, I guess. But
I'm just like, how do you make a racist Jason? Would be hilarious.
God, I hate to say it, but I mean, he wouldn't have to start talking. I guess he could just choose his victims differently.
And then be like, wait, are you killing us?
Well, maybe he's killing all these people because they're white. We don't know.
Well, yeah, whoever's killing because of what? Yeah, he's still just racist. Racist.
Anyway, they didn't make him a rapist.
I think he just hates everyone.
They wanted to bring him back, and they were like, well, if he's a rapist, people aren't going to want to see him come back. They're going to want to see him dead.
Sure.
In the original script, the character of Rick was called Derek, but it was changed to Rick because it was one less syllable and therefore easier to scream.
Oh, yeah.
Rick!
Never thought
Rick!
of him writing it that way. Paramount had to spend a ton of money just to get this in theaters because they had to like install new screens and lenses and projectors and different things just to be able to get this in a wide release. And they also set up a 24-hour hotline for all of those theaters in case they had a problem with the 3D. It had a budget of $4 million and made almost $37 million. $36,985,198 to be precise.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
This one I love. The original ending, Chris wakens in the canoe on Crystal Lake. She's the lone survivor. She rows the canoe back to shore and begins walking towards the house. She hears a sound inside and thinks it's Rick and goes to run in. But when she opens the front door, it's not Rick, it's Jason. And he comes out, grabs her by the hair, and chops her head off with a machete. That ending would have been incredible. I wish that was the ending we got, to be honest. Even if she woke up from it and it was a dream much more or something. But
you can still do your stupid dream thing, but yeah, that would have been awesome.
Exactly. They're really into that dream stuff. In 2005, a hardcore fan lit a fire in a fake fireplace in the cabin, which resulted in them burning it to the ground.
Yeah, I saw that. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that whole place where they built on is like fucking the lake, quote unquote. It looks just like an offset of, a lake.
Way
it's
offset.
Small and gross. I heard it was like full of like tadpoles and mosquito eggs and shit because it was just gross and not
water like
a
dumped
real
in
lake.
The middle of
California.
Oh, gross. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because this one's shot in California. Part 3 is the only Friday the 13th film in which none of the characters actually say the name Jason, which I didn't notice, but that's pretty fun.
Yep.
Awesome.
Hilarious. I didn't notice it either, but yeah, totally.
Several deaths in the film had to be cut to avoid an X rating from the MPAA, which include the following. This is what we talked about. Andy's death, which is showed his leg being cut off and his stomach being ripped open. That's when they got split in two doing the handstand. Vera's death for too much gore and looking too real. Edna's death was cut because of excessive blood flow. Chili's impalement was cut because of a shot showing steaming blood hitting the floor. Debbie's death scene was also trimmed, which originally showed blood running down her face and chest. So that's a lot.
Yeah, it definitely would have gone up in my gore meter if we saw that, but not by much because it was still, it's your 80s gore.
Right.
The reason mine went
the first
lower
one is still the
again,
goriest so far.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense.
I did like the, we'll get into it, but I did like the reverse of like some of the scenes from part 1 that are mirrored in part 3.
So there was one other alternate ending aside from the head cutting off one. These were both shot, all the endings were shot, I guess. It's that Ollie, the biker guy who gets his arm cut, who we think is dead and comes back. He actually also lives with Chris, and they escape. And then Jason presumably escapes because where his body was supposed to be, they like pan to it and it's not there. And that is the end of our trivia behind the scenes.
I don't know if it's trivia necessarily, but since this movie takes place immediately after part 2, this doesn't take place on Friday the 13th. This is a Saturday the 14th.
This is a Saturday the 14th.
Well, I asked in part 2. I thought they didn't even ever say it was on Friday the 13th. Interestingly enough, this one was released on a Friday the 13th.
Right. I knew that. And then, if you look into a lot of trivia about it, it does say that this takes place after the second one, so that this is Saturday the 14th. So presumably
it does.
What's also super weird is that with like the continuity, because it's supposed to be literally like the next day is when the but also like what Jason doesn't have the
big old fucking axe wound,
the gaping
shoulder,
ginormous fucking machete wound that's supposed to happen. And then all of his hair fell out.
Did he have?
Oh, precisely.
I don't even remember.
We changed hair. Jason in the mask and what he looks like changed because remember you get that
the dream sequence where he's all hillbilly
when he busts through the window, and he's all hillbilly looking with the scraggly hair, all
stubble and shit.
And you briefly see that. So we can get into it. Sam will lead us in.
Are we okay?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Yeah,
all right. Behind the scenes is done, and now we are getting into the first 6 in 3D.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we talk about scenes, lines, interactions, characters, kills, gore, scares, craftsmanship. Sort of free-flowing conversation, but we try and make sure we hit on those points. I'll make sure to cover them again before we move on. Guys,
yeah, you will.
I'll start with scenes. One of the things I noticed right away is it begins with the end of the last movie, just like the movie beforehand. Yes. It just, I guess I'll find out if that continues for a while, but we get like 10 minutes of the ending of the last
7.5 minutes, I believe.
7.5 minutes of a recap. Yeah. But you know what's weird, though? It doesn't feel excessive, although on paper it feels excessive. To me, I don't know. Maybe I just because I'll watch these in streams of 1 through 4 or something like that.
Sure.
The 7-minute recap to me feels a little abrasive, but nothing super crazy. I think what gets me is that when the fucking title card comes out, we still get that fucking Mrs. Voorhees. That's the actress who's her eyes are supposed to open, and they never open.
Oh.
They never open, not in the second one, and they don't open in the third one, but what they do in the third one is have the Friday the 13th and then part 3, or in 3D, come kind of out of her eye sockets towards the screen.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hey.
It's a great title card intro. I'm ready for it. I mean, this definitely has the best theme so far.
Oh my god, the updated version, the 80s version of we were listening to it before we started recording. It is
because it's just too good to pass up.
It's fantastic.
It's
I love it. Yeah, it's fantastic. So this movie is 3D as fuck. I mean, am I right?
Yes.
So many 3D gags.
Except for the first 7 minutes.
Except for the first 7 minutes. That was not filmed in 3D. Every other scene I feel in this movie has a 3D gag.
Oh, for sure. In some regard.
Hands down.
I mean, that's what they filmed for.
If not more often than that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Okay. What are your top 3 3D gags?
Oh, jeez.
That you saw in this movie?
There's
just off the top of the dome.
Some of them involve kills. Some of them, I mean, the yo-yo's classic.
Yeah. The yo-yo for
classic
sure
yo-yo.
is a top one. The baseball bat,
the baseball bat
in the beginning,
just
because the way it's being held is so weird. Just to get it to be 3D.
Chili passing the joint in the car.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
Absolutely,
is fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. The popcorn is ridiculous.
Popcorn's incredible.
And my favorite one is from the beginning at the corner store, or whatever the side thing. The fucking snake gag.
Oh yeah,
is the best, dumbest thing. Because they knew how cheesy it was, and they went with it, and it stuck, which was great. I don't think any of them realized at a certain point in human history, someone would be able to revisit that and sit at home and just watch that continuously.
And on such high definition, it was not.
Watching it in the 4K Ultra HD. I did you guys see the wiring and all this stuff? Yeah.
I
100%.
own the base DVD set when the original 8-9 movies came out, and I can still see it clear as day.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, so it's very visible. Which is funny to the fact that you think of all the trouble they had getting the 3D shots, how many times they had to do that fucking snake shot, and we're like, it's fucking good.
My God.
This is great. We got to keep doing it. We got to get it in here.
The the juggling contest is phenomenal.
Juggling was pretty good. I was thinking, do you think it's the same snake
eyeball
from the first film? They just repurposed the dead body and then made it a 3D snake.
Oh, that'd be funny. I would have said that if they filmed in where they filmed before, because then they would have just found the body, because that probably just got thrown to the side after the first production. Or well, maybe not. Maybe the snake owner who was devastated about it got taxidermied.
Actually, Savini uses every part of the snake when he kills it on set. So
he holds on to it. He still has it to this day.
Yeah.
He still has it to this day.
He ate it, and it's a belt.
And it's a belt in some regard. Yeah, I mean, okay, so going back to the one moment that you see Harry Jason, we'll call him or whatever,
yes,
is in that beginning when they're doing the
flashback. catch up.
Where the clothesline hanger stuff, where you see him
when he pulls a full,
where you see him for
Myers.
Briefly a second. They're using that old.
And the sheets are 3D, and the post that's for some reason in the middle of the clothing.
Everything. Yeah,
that's not doing anything. It's not really holding it up.
You know what it's being? It's being
3D. It's
3D.
In your face is what it is. Here's a real disappointing thing. So I found a pair of 3D glasses in my house and went to put on the 3D version. And it's like, it looks like you don't have a 3D Blu-ray player or TV, so this isn't going to work.
Yeah, it requires like the special shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you need the special stuff.
Just play it. I don't care if it's kind of whack.
Chuddlefest.
Just play it that way. Shouldn't be that hard. So that was disappointing. The store owner at the beginning, drinking and eating everything in his little convenience store.
Oh,
eating everything.
God,
fish food.
Whatever
he can get his hands on.
I absolutely love the shop owner and his wife in this fucking opening sequence. Is just so funny. Having a live rabbit as a pet, but also as not a pet, but as in the store. As in, like, this thing has burrowed its way into the produce and is just hanging out there until he has to catch it, and then he didn't restock any of that. He just was like, stop eating that. All right.
Now, as I carry you out, I'm going to stop like every 2 steps to open something and eat it.
A little something else here.
And then the wife comes in
peanuts.
and she's like, I didn't feed you enough. And she takes half the donut and puts it back in the box. Like,
yeah.
Can you imagine buying a box of donuts and open up and one's like half eaten?
Exactly. If it's the only stop in 50 miles, they don't care.
That's all. That's all product.
Fucking discount it.
So he's pooping when we see him on the toilet, right?
He's trying to pinch low
because
he's just kind of hanging out.
Because I noticed he did not wipe after pooping / before dying.
Maybe he was just trying to get away.
He's probably just getting away. Well, because this was
him pooping his rabbit.
Well, it's after he gets the bejesus scared out of him by the snake, and then he just like runs past his wife, who can't find her needle. Is her one of her needles?
Sewing needles, or not knitting needle. Yeah.
Knitting needle.
I can't find my tiny ass sewing needle.
No, I thought it was the weirdest, like, and probably not intentional. Could be intentional because like Friday the 13th is like notorious for picking from different series and things that work. But I just thought it was really funny having the knitting needle kill scene, and then also the hiding behind the sheets. Like, there's so many Michael Myers homages in this beginning sequence. It's hilarious. Where I'm like, oh, okay, you went there. Okay, that's great. I also like the fact that, like, from Jump Street, you're seeing Jason. Like, it's there. I thought it was kind of clever, the POV from POV to Jason, because that transition happens really interesting through part 3, where, like, before he adorns his hockey mask, you're getting like
we don't see
kind
him.
of POV, and then you don't really see him.
Well, it's not POV. We see his like hand or something.
Yeah, but it's like it's always almost in the whodunit style that you've seen in the past too,
right?
Where you don't really see what's going on until he adorns the hockey mask, and then you're like, then you get full.
It's the first time we actually see him. Before that, it's all like close up on his like how the first one is all POV. The second one's lots of shot of his feet. This one is just like different body parts.
And then like the big, I think that's what really resonates for me is like the big reveal. And then they continue with that where like you just get full Jason.
So how do you feel about the friend group in this one, Sam?
Fine.
Yeah.
I like them. I like them fine. Okay. I don't love them. I don't hate them, but they're good. They're not bad, I don't think.
Compared to the past two. You like the first one the best?
I still like the first one the best, but I do like this friend group.
They felt good together. They felt lived in, however you want to put it. Like I
like the hippies. Kind of I like the couple that's all the horny couple. I liked Shelly. I like the new lady.
I fucking hate Shelly. I have Shelly written down in characters. Hate him.
Shelly is like you love to hate that dude. Oh, actually, I don't know if you brought. Maybe you did. I don't know. Maybe you brought it up. Maybe you didn't in the behind the scenes. So there's this weird subplot with Andy and Debbie where Debbie's pregnant.
Oh boy!
Only mentioned at the beginning.
Multiple in the beginning, But wasn't is it the Spike TV cut, or like there's a TV cut of this movie where they removed every dialogue sequence of her being pregnant, and I think they even cut out the weed sequences with Chuck and Chili. But there's a lot of versions where like they took, at least at a bare minimum, they took all of the pregnancy dialogue out of the beginning first scenes, which is, Sam, you're 100% right, because she brings it up at the beginning of the movie, and then they never talk about it.
Real brief, once or twice maybe.
Except when she brings up the fact, like, do you want a beer? And then she says, like, yes. I think it's like her realizing she's pregnant and be like, no, you know what? No, I don't need that beer.
Can you hear me? Did you hear me about the beer? It's long.
So long.
I was just going to say the Hot Pox gag, where when we first meet our friend group, and they're picking up Vera, and they're like, oh, the van's on fire, and they run in, and they're, in the back with 2 big bombs. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
I loved the introduction of Vera, too, where, like, they go to her house, her mom answers the door, and she goes, she's not going. And then, like, for 10 solid seconds, you're 2 women screaming at the top of their lungs, and then Vera pops up. Hey, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Yeah, that was great. Okay, so Shelley.
Yeah, let's. Sure. You know what? Let's just get into the Shelley character.
This Shelley guy. Now, you like him?
Yeah,
I find him to be,
except for like 1 or 2 things. But continue.
Yeah, I feel like he gives me nice guy feelings, neckbeard nice guy energy.
Yes,
and that's why I don't like him.
I don't know what that means.
He's like, oh, why do girls always date jerks? I'm a nice guy. Fucking bitch, why doesn't she date me? Like they'll do shit like that, which he does do.
He said when he calls her a bitch because she says she didn't like him and leaves. That was when that happened. I was like, oh man. Because that's the only.
How dare you?
I think that might be the only thing
my feelings.
That he does.
Yeah, that just changed my world around on Shelley, and I'm just like, come on, dude! Like you're pretending you just got an axe to the face and wondering why people are upset, or you've donned full scuba gear and decide to pop out of the fucking lake and are wondering why people are mad.
On.
Like,
hey, would you be would you be yourself if you looked like this?
Oh my god, shut up.
That is like,
hang out.
I love it.
No, Brian, I agree. I think it's like if the pranks were less
such
intense.
A sad sack. Like such
you know what I mean? Like
sad sack.
If I want to love him for being a sad sack, then yeah, he's great at doing that, but I just found it like ugh.
No, but his pranks are like way over the top for you to like super sympathize with like what's going, you know what I mean? Where it's like if this was just like, I don't know, shaving cream balloons and like whoopee cushions, it would be a little different than like him faking his own murder 3 times and then like
doesn't bother me.
And then running around with a mask and stuff. No, honestly, I find it endearing, but I can completely understand the fact of like why a lot of people are like, God damn it! Oh my god!
Well, and I guess the other thing is when he does get Vera in the water, he's like, "Don't you know a pretty girl like you shouldn't go out at night or something?" I also didn't like when he said that. I'm like, she's amongst friends in the middle of nowhere. She should be fine going here. Like, but all the other stuff with him where he just hates himself, I love.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's heavy turtle energy, but like,
I can almost forgive all of it from the Volkswagen scene where he just like actually just runs over the bikers when he hits the biker. He accidentally hits their bikes and then proceeds to loop around and then just eviscerate Ali's bike. I thought was like, hey, good for you, Shelley. Also, there's going to be some heavy consequences to that. But you know what? Good for you for right now.
Yeah, I guess if I'm just if I'm going to a cabin, I do not want a Shelley coming along.
No, I can't believe he got invited. They're all pretty cool to him for how annoying he is.
Yeah,
well, he's also like he's Andy's roommate, right? So like Andy is like bringing him by proxy.
I don't want to be around him. But I want to observe him in this film.
I'm surprised that Chuck and Chili, like a National Geographic thing. Like I'd rather just observe.
I'd rather just observe the Shelley.
I'm surprised Chili and Chuck didn't just smoke him stupid and just were like, listen, man, you're juggling way too much. You just need to sit down and just have.
He doesn't like weed. He was
no,
all
you
square
guys just gonna
about it.
smoke all weekend? Is that all you're gonna do?
Good.
Like, yeah, man, sounds cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're.
I like that this movie's Crazy Ralph was some guy sleeping in the middle of the road that they
with the eyeball.
Yes.
Was like so ridiculous.
The eyeball. That's a good 3D moment. There you go.
Oh, great 3D,
great
moment.
3D moment.
Absolutely. When he holds it out. It's eye-popping. That's not the only eye-popping we get.
Yeah, dude.
I like that in Ross's opening. The biker girl, Fox, I think was her name.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole gang, we haven't even touched on them yet. It's like a punk rock motorcycle.
Fucking 80s motorcycle gang in a movie.
Gangs.
Like, that was just like showing up in horror
like
movies.
Classic.
Right.
Top rocker, bottom rocker.
They don't really have we don't really know what they are exactly, but aren't they scary criminals?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was really funny how they're presented when you first meet them. So when like Fox picks up the wallet and is like you gotta call me ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Ali popping out and what was the third guy's name?
Loco, yeah.
And then Loco, like, okay, so they're super hard asses. And then I love that fucking Shelly runs over one of their bikes. Like, the front wheel's fucking nuked. So their retaliation as a bike gang is to secretly just siphon gas and just be like, neener, haha, dude, fuck you. Like,
they were going to burn down the
bikers,
barn.
Yeah.
They're taking the gas to burn down the barn.
Yeah.
Well, no one's going to get hurt, though. You know what I mean? That's
they're not just taking the gas; they're burning down their bar.
I guess I don't know. I figure like the level of like, oh, you guys arson.
There's a big difference.
Yeah, just stealing some gas and burning down a barn. Like,
yeah, but nobody's gonna be in the barn, you know.
Okay, so they're not murdering.
It's still burning down a building versus stealing some gas.
Hey, let us know if you think that burning down a bar is a big deal or not.
Compared to stealing gas.
In comparison to stealing gas.
Well, I like to think apparently like the the actors who played all of them are like just like super nice people, like the complete opposite side. Like the woman who played Fox, Gloria Charles, apparently was all like giddy and embarrassed when she had to do like the whole like talking about the condom scene or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's like, I'm supposed to be embarrassing this other girl, and I'm sitting here all embarrassed talking about a condom.
Mortified.
That's
fun. No, I don't know. I guess it's maybe not what they're doing; it's just their demeanor while they're doing it. I mean, like, Fox is literally like on a fucking rope swinging and like gleefully chatting. Love that.
That's one of my notes is not only her doing that, just being like, whee! But then such a funny character choice. But then also the disappearing from the rope immediately after is a great scene. Like gag, scare, whatever you want to call it. Oh, put that for a scare.
Oh,
put that one down for a scare.
I didn't have anything for a scare. So here's a good barn question for you. If you're not burning it down like Ross, if you see the the hangy swing thing, are you swinging on the rope?
No.
Okay.
I
don't know. I'd probably give it a swing.
Ross, there's no way you would.
Your
heights thing, you're going to climb to the top of a barn and swing out over nothing.
If there's like a foot knot.
You got to reach out to get it. It's not like over inside the barn. You got to reach out over.
It's a barn. I'm sure you can find some sort of pulling device.
There were at least, from my count, at least 2 pitchforks.
Yeah, at least. Well.
An axe.
Yeah.
No, because what was it? Loco was pinned. No, I'm sorry.
Fox gets
was pinned.
So
was pinned by one, and then Loco gets impaled by the other.
Sure.
Also, as a double header biker death in 3D, using a pitchfork, multiple pitchforks, good on them. Hats off to you for 3D kill on that one.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's to start mixing in kills. We've already had 2 at this point, by the way. Harold and Edna, the store owner guy, and his wife.
Yeah, we get a hatchet to the chest,
and then the knitting needle to the back of the head,
to the back of the skull,
popping out the eye. Kinda, right? I don't know where it goes.
I thought it was out of the throat.
Maybe it was through the throat. I didn't see where the exit.
It was kind of hard to tell.
I don't know if it actually. I don't know. I gotta watch it again.
4K.
I never thought it. I never thought it actually went through
all the way.
I thought it just in the back of the head,
and then did a little scramble. Oh God! And you see like her eyes up front, like twirling,
just rolling around.
Okay, that'll be in the umpire. All right.
Hell yeah.
Moving on. The next one, as we just mentioned, was Fox. She gets pinned. We don't see it happen. We just see her pinned to the rafter through her neck
with the handle of the pitchfork
Brutal.
just in our face, if it could be.
Yes.
I bet it was in the theaters, man. Imagine seeing that. That'd have been
This
shocking.
whole movie, I would love to see this in theaters in 3D.
That'd been fun.
And I'm not a 3D guy, but it is the 3D is just so over the top and in your face. I would really love to do it.
Can you imagine the hype behind this movie too? Where like the fucking production company had to build out and basically build in a new screen and projector to show this movie.
It kicked
that
off
alone,
the 3D craze of the early mid 80s, and they came up with like a new technique for filming 3D for the movie, which is still used today. Steve Miner wanted all the shot. He didn't want any static shots. He wanted everything to be moving and be able to be handheld. And they didn't have that 3D capability, so they built some kind of device to put on a camera that is still used now.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
Thanks, part 3.
They were really into the technical aspects. That was all they were doing. The actors were like, what do we do? And they're like, I don't know.
Fucking figure it out.
And then, Loco gets the pitchfork to the gut, and then... We get a little bit more of
Ali. I think Ali getting beaten to death too in the first one.
Surprisingly effective, like where he's just laying on the ground and just like the 3 or 4 thunks. You don't even see it. It's just like the sound, I think, in the motion.
Thunk.
I think it's also like, honestly, I was with these kind of movies up until then, like you get like 1 or 2 good whacks. This one was like 4, just looming over to that like was just like
sort of that wet thunk.
Some of that wet thunk.
And then I don't know if you have any scenes in between. The next one that we get is Vera's death in terms of kills, and that is a damn good one because that just introduces
Harpoon.
Because
iconic Jason.
Iconic Jason. Jason walking on that dock with that fucking harpoon gun is.
And then walking off is the best. The way he just throws the gun to the side, and then just like this lackadaisical.
What's next?
Yeah. Hilarious. I love it.
Yeah. That scene.
But the death itself, yeah.
The harpoon we see on the fucking line must have been flying right at your face, but we can also see the line. God. And then the prosthetic head and eye explosion she falls in. It's all pretty good. I mean, it isn't, and it's great though. It all works.
I think
it all works.
I think with a lot of the 3D stuff, it's like it's cheese, but it's good cheese, and it's aged appropriately. Like it doesn't. It's not
French cheese.
And the trees work so well because they were so focused on making this 3D movie that the cheese was allowed to just kind of sit there and get to perfect kind of fermentation.
Really smells
the curds.
Stanky.
The curds, really. If there's fresh cheese curds all day.
Curd, French, cottage, brie, Gruyere.
Whatever you want it was there.
String.
Festering.
I did really like, I guess plot-wise too, that a lot of like the barn was Jason's like little murder mansion for a hot second, where like he gets the bikers and then Shelly gets lured in there because like that one of the like those scenes is him like trying to getting towards barn.
So
like
when does Shelly actually
the hippies are in there already?
Mm-hmm.
And
so
do they get killed in there? No, the guy gets fried. Yeah, they don't.
They go somewhere separate. So what happens is that
Shelly in there.
I think
Shelly gets lured off before Vera gets killed. So he pops out of the water at Vera, and then he goes off, presumably into the barn or whatever. He's like, "Who's that in there?" Like and then he walks off or whatever. But then that's when Jason comes back with the hockey mask on and then kills Vera.
Yep.
But it's not until a little bit later that we see Shelly pop back up with his throat slit.
Right.
So
because it's doing the boy who cried wolf thing.
I want to see the Shelly cut though, where it's like 20 minutes of him like trying to like wander around with this throat slit.
Oh my god!
Trying to get help from somewhere because like what is he doing for so long?
You know, to be totally honest, depending on how long he was out there, he might be our first Friday the 13th Chuddle. Like he might have just been asking for death.
Yeah, that could have been a Chuddle at that point.
He's got the Chuddle attitude beforehand.
He's got
anything that's just like life sucks. I'm miserable. I suck.
Murder me.
As soon as he was in pain, in physical pain, he was in emotional, mental pain for probably
the
ever,
whole time.
It seemed. Yeah. Because we get Vera dying, and then
my
we get
life
Andy.
Hurts.
Andy dies, which is our great. I
love that one. I wish we could have seen more, especially from when we see his corpse later. It's like, oh my God. That one must have been awesome. Cut in half.
Yeah.
I love the handstand crotch split too. Like,
okay, the handstand crotch split is fantastic. What's weird to me though is that when you see his body
walking around like that.
It sounds like a skateboarding move. Can you do that? The handstand crotch split,
but
Sam?
It's
a 360 handstand crotch split.
It's bizarre though because when you see Andy's body up in the rafters, he's cut horizontally and not vertically.
Well, it's like a little bit broken.
Yeah,
I think.
Right?
I think it's like split that way, and now he can fold that way. Is kind of how I thought of it.
Because I think
it was just as like his full trunk. You know what I mean? So it looks to me like he got cut like sawed in half style. You know what I mean? And also down. You know.
Yeah, because I know his death. That death was a lot gorier, and there's a lot more to that.
Right.
Is what they had. So who knows what more context we would have got out of.
But this is a great version of the scene we get from the first one. But it's a hammock this time, and a machete instead of an arrow. And it's to the girl and not the guy.
Which is so funny because if it's the same weapon that Chris pulls out of Debbie, it just turns back into a knife. Like it's like it got its thing and then it was fine.
Oh sure. Now
and it's I don't know if we've seen pregnant people get killed before.
I was about to say,
this is the first time.
So depending, I mean, like I don't know how far along in her pregnancy is. She didn't seem to be showing or anything noticeably.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you include that death, this would be 13 deaths as opposed to 12. This would kick it to 13.
13. I would. Yeah. I mean. I don't know.
And then and then after that is when we finally get Shelly is the next one that pops up to die. Oh. So you get all that other stuff happening,
and then him like. I also like the fact that Chili's like, yelling at him.
You know, running around.
He's flopping around, and Chili's like, "Cut it the fuck out! Just cut it out! Stop it!"
God, I'm not skinny. I can't skinny dip or whatever the fuck he says.
Oh, dude, totally.
I'm such a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I'm such a piece of shit. But this is the same time.
I love it.
This is the same time that Chuck's in the goddamn basement trying to fix the breaker, gets scared by the skunk taxidermy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and that has one of my favorite lines. I put in lines in our actions where he sees the like bomb girl calendar and like you see her butt and he's like, all right. I thought that was very funny.
His costume design, it's like literally they're like, okay, you're just gonna look like
it's so stereotypical,
yeah. So of that time,
that's your character,
100%.
Yeah, but he does get thrown into a breaker box and gets electrocuted to death.
And I put for scare when the fuse box comes on and Jason's standing right behind him. I thought that was real good. Like,
that's super good.
Nice. I mean, it's a jump scare, but I thought it was solid. And I have another scare for this one, and I could have had 3, it turns out. But the other one I have is so are we? No, because we haven't killed. Let's go ahead and kill our last 2.
Let's not kill Chili yet, because Chili still has to find Shelly. Oh my God, yeah. Shelly's dead. It does her like kind of brisk walk around the cabin screaming kind of his name and going up the stairs and down the stairs.
And I'm assuming finding Andy because was it Debbie's in a closet covered in shit at this point.
Yeah. Oh, I love that part. And then gets the hot poker.
The hot poker, dude. Yeah, and then like the bride of like the Frankenstein of holding her body after the impalement and then carrying her up. That scene is so, I don't know why, but that scene as a kid, like as a I don't even
does it for
young
you
adult. It freaked me out because it's like you see him mangling and all this shit, but you never see him
doing
really
the prep work for the final act.
Yeah, we know he's always setting up stuff, hiding people, this and that. We don't see it this time. We're like, oh, he's going to set her up for something.
And that really creeps Ross out.
It's weird because
Jason
it's
guy's
like,
a real creep.
He's conniving in the second one for sure, but like in this one, like he's clearly doing body removal so that he can, if other people come in, it's not
totally
like
He's like, I'm going to set this one up so the door opens and they flip down upside down, or he likes to.
Which is funny. Where do you think Chili
have his corpses surprise his next victim?
Where do you think Chili went? Because they don't show her body again. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, every PSA I heard about smoking the reefer, that's not where she's going.
Somewhere upstairs.
But I thought, for the longest time, I thought she was just in the bathtub. Like, Chris sees the bloody stuff. I think that, like, her body's just in there, but she just didn't.
Could be.
I don't know.
Never thought about it.
Yeah. All right. Next, we get a really good one with Chris. He gets the vice.
Oh, my God. Rick's death is okay. That fucking scene is amazing.
That's what I meant, Rick.
That is amazing. Wrote it down wrong.
So right before that happens, I also love the gag of I put it for, I don't know if it'd be considered a scare or not, but when she's looking for Rick and Jason, we see Jason holding Rick around the corner, covering
That's
his
one
mouth.
of the best scenes of the whole movie.
Really, like actually effective and scary and cool and just good, And then
Yes,
fucking
Rick.
best kill in the movie. Yeah.
Oh, we'll also kind of give the viewer kind of a tidbit. Rick and Chris were not at home in the cabin during any of the other murders.
It's kind of like the first two movies that our main people are off doing something else and come back and everybody's dead.
Except this one, we get the weird flashback of not assaulting Jason.
Well, yeah, Chris has this whole backstory of like coming to the lake because 2 years ago she was out here and got assaulted by some weird deformed man who may or may not have raped her, and like
was initially supposed to have, but they decided they didn't want that anymore, so they cut around it. But it still seems
it's
like
still very in
it's
there.
hard
She's like at one point, she's like, I passed out and I don't know what happened next or something.
Yeah,
it still makes it in, but so that happens, and then she's confronting her fears. That's what this trip's all about.
But she hasn't seen Rick since last summer, so I don't know where they saw each other. And also, he thought it'd be great. Did he not know about the assault at all? Because when she first gets there, he's waiting around the corner and grabs her and pulls him towards him to kiss her.
Like that's
did it just get cool in here, or is it just me?
Dude, even when they're
triggering for someone who's like suffering from PTSD from being in these exact woods,
attacked.
Every other part of dialogue for Rick was just to get into Chris's pants. Like, he suggests having sex 5 times a day while they're moving hay up and down a barn.
It's like, we should set aside all the time. 3 hours a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once at night. Just for
twice at night.
Oh, twice at night. And then
there's only a 4-year difference between the two of them, but he felt a lot older to me.
Oh, interesting. And then there's the gag there where he's pulling up the rope for the hay, but then it's her. And so his reaction is to drop her. Not even slowly, just full drop to the ground.
So it'd be fine if you're swinging.
Can we still have sex?
Well, you know what? He gets his revenge because he gets his effing eyeball popped out of his head in one of the surprise 3D moments of the entire movie.
Absolutely love it. That one you also see like a thing behind it that pushes it.
And it's funny, the head was designed to be like reusable so they could squish it many times.
I love it.
I would hope so.
Because they needed it for the 3D.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, totally. I mean, dude, if the poker scene took over 30 times to hit, I can't even imagine what the head eye popping scene must have taken.
I'll find out, but I know like the first two are like a camp at Crystal Lake. So this one's like, you thought you were safe not going to a camp at Crystal Lake?
Camp.
You were wrong. You could go to some shitty cabin on a shitty inlet of Crystal Lake and just be around and get killed.
Part of Crystal Lake, yeah.
Yeah, the worst part.
Totally. I'm going to try, because some fan must have come up
Airbnb and it says Crystal Lake, and you get there and you're like, I thought this was a fucking. They're calling this Crystal Lake. Like technically, it is Crystal Lake. You just have to go through that bog to get there.
It's this bog. No, I honestly, all right, I'm going to try to throw it in the Discord or something like that, because there has to be a fan that made a typographical map of Crystal Lake and where all of these things are supposed to happen.
That'd be cool.
Because I would love to see this layout.
Map how he's just working his way around.
I like when Jason chases Chris into the barn, and the first place he looks is like this pile of chairs in a closet.
He tears that barn apart.
One of the most obvious places that a person could not be is the first place he looks.
But he's not all there. You know what I mean? He's working. He's trying. He's figuring it out.
He's tearing apart everything in that barn to get to her. And this is where we get our last kill, right? Yeah, Allie. He makes her surprise.
Kill and a half?
Yeah. Turns out he's still alive after those wet thunks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then just gets his whole fucking arm from like mid forearm back or mid forearm up just completely just hacked off.
Chop it off.
Chop. And then he's
again
hacked to death.
Just the thud.
With a machete this time.
With a machete.
We don't even know what he used the first time. It's like, it seemed like a blackjack or something.
Or something like that. Yeah.
So
that leads us to our final showdown.
Fight, right? It's like the first two running away, trying to get away. Oh, I love the when she gets the van and tries to drive away because she doesn't know that those bikers were pranking her by taking away the gasoline, and that's all. And
that's it. That's all they got away with.
But so Jason runs out of gas. Jason comes up and goes to grab her, and she just rolls up the window on his arms, and his arms get stuck, and that's how she gets away.
Brilliant.
I love that way to catch Jason, and then to escape, he headbutts the glass to break it.
Yeah,
I love that.
Puts that hockey mask to use. Good thing the bikers didn't put a banana in the tailpipe as well. I think that was next on the list. And then the axe wound to Jason's head that he receives in this one, that marking on the mask continues.
Oh, absolutely. But also the handle just going
through the hawk. Excuse me.
With both of his arms stretched out like Frankenstein.
Oh yeah,
that is
awesome. Love it.
Good.
We mentioned how we moved the one body, and that Debbie's body or somebody's body was in the closet because Chris falls out and screams, and wherever Jason is, you see him, and he like hears it and starts running, and I just imagine him be like, "Oh, she found the closet corpse," and takes off. Like, hell yeah! Oh, great! Like, I know where that she must be now.
Yeah, it's not. It's part
to him up to scream so he can find them.
Exactly. There's more involved. It's not just to terrify. It's to terrify and locate.
Yeah,
it's
like a radar system.
I have a theory about Jason for part 2 to part 3. I think that he murdered the store owners and then got into the bathroom, frantically put on different clothes, and then shaved all of his hair. Mm-hmm. And he was like, this will work. Now I'm a shop owner. I can just own this shop. And I can walk around.
It's like the first
looked in the
people
mirror,
that came in, he was like, he took off, and it was like, well, I'm just going to go back to killing.
Yeah, this just go back,
or just shaving himself. He goes, all right, no one's going to recognize me now.
I imagine Jason talking. Okay,
it's all racist.
She ends up defeating him. She ends up defeating him by the we think he's defeated by the hanging from that rope swing that we've seen a bunch.
Oh, and then we get
but she goes to leave. Nope, he's still alive. One final confrontation. Axe. He pulls himself off.
And to get the noose off, he has to pull his mask off. So that's where you get to see a nice bald, freshly shaved Jason face.
And that's where it says beep. Because, we won't play that filthy racism that he says on our show.
Yeah, he says something just really bigoted. You're like, what the fuck? You're going to try to kill me and you're racist?
This is terrible.
Yeah, we really don't like this guy.
You are the
worst. And then, okay, so this I loved because it is insane. So again, you gotta have the main girl get away, the final girl get away, but then get caught by something surprising her, and then but actually still getting away in a manic state, I guess. But this time she's in the canoe again in this shitty little crystal bog, and fucking out of the water from behind pops zombie Pamela Voorhees with like worms wriggling out of her face.
But dude, but before that, she's like looking up and she looks at the house and there's just Jason at the window.
Bloody face Jason.
Like, hey, buddy, hey, it's me, Jason. It's me. I see you.
That moment is actually an answer later in my the conversation.
And then he runs out, kind of, runs outside.
Where's my mask?
And then you get the Pamela pop out.
Yeah.
Yes, Pamela Pop is just
ridiculous.
The leech worms on her face are so ridiculous.
And then she's like
then she
going away
up
in an ambulance, and they're like, "Oh,
hauling her away.
Cruise you later."
Yeah. Oh, dude, her in the back of that cop car just losing her shit. Like, she went full Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the end. Like, she's in hysterics driving out, and I just like that zoom in on just dead Jason.
Yeah, in the
or
farm.
Is he?
I thought for sure that we would get something, but
nope, just
on the auto,
just
laying there,
back to back, fucking 2 movies that you expect something just to be like, bleh.
Maybe in the fourth one when it opens with that, something will happen. So I got a few lines from this that I liked. I already mentioned, "Would you be yourself if you looked like this?"
Shelley, that's your boy.
Terrible. Yeah. In the yo-yo scene where she's like, "Come on, don't you want to get some exercise?" He's like, "This is all the exercise I need."
Yeah.
About yo-yoing, which is a very funny thing to say. And immediately after that, he hits her in the face with the yo-yo. It like falls down and gets her, and she goes, "Ow, that was close." Which it was more than close. He just hit you in the face with it.
It hit.
When they see this movie's Ralph in the road and they all come up to him, it's a bunch of overlapping dialogue, but one of them somebody says is, "Don't touch him. You don't know where he's been." And then finally, I already mentioned it, was when our hippie guy is like, "All right."
Oh, yeah.
The butt that he sees.
He's a butt man. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else in terms of any of the other categories.
Yeah, craftsmanship, the new 80s theme, the new song. We've touched on it. Fucking fantastic.
It's a banger.
Yeah. Ross, you got anything left for scenes, lines, characters, kills, gore, scares, craftsmanship?
No.
Good?
I think that,
all right.
I think we're good. I mean, because, I mean, the work speaks for itself. I mean, this is top-notch 3D effects and 3D film. Probably of the 21st century.
I thought I had seen 3 dimensions before, and just watching this in 2D, I realized I've never experienced 3D like it was meant to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I don't even like 3D. Next 6, a new dimension in 6.
Ooh.
Would we survive?
Okay, so we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And it seems that...
we have.
Well, this specifically of how does Jason kill and what is it like to fight him one-on-one? And so far, it seems that he relies on sneak attacks as the term before. He like sneaks up and he gets you and he kills you real quick. Up to this point, anyway. So then it seems like anyone that's almost kind of aware of him or comes at him and doesn't sneak attack him defeats him. At this point that we've seen.
That's true. Yeah.
Or at least can disarm
or
him
at least
to run away.
Can get away and then get attacked and then come back. But however, whatever's happening there at the end.
Exactly. So I mean, at this point, I think we still we could stand a chance depending on if we get the sneak attack or not.
I agree. Yeah, I'm still with it.
I think he's more lethal in this installment.
Yes,
but more but you could survive him if you're more alert. Like, I think you're 100% right. Anybody that, like, actually is, I don't know, direct eye contact with him before he attacks doesn't really... I mean, shy of, I guess, Ali.
Well, it is very... never even thought about it before, but I've thought about the sneak attacks because we've talked about that before, but compared to other slashers, they all, like, let you know they're coming. You know what I mean? Mike Myers, I guess, is maybe Mike Myers. Michael Myers, I guess, is a little sneaky, but you usually see him and he's coming at you. And obviously, like Freddy and Ghostface, Chucky, all of these other big ones are like, "Hey, guess what? I'm gonna kill you." And he's like,
Jason,
surprise! I'm stabbing you from under the bed,
hugging behind a tree, waiting for you to like go up against it.
Oh my god, he's gonna come to the tree.
He's gonna come to the tree. He's gonna come to the tree. Oh my god,
he's gonna work. Yes. Do you think? Oh man, we didn't even go over this. Do you think there was any section of this movie that like had the waiting patiently Jason? Was he under the hammock the entire time, going like, "You gotta fucking sit down"?
Yeah. Well, who knows how long he was sitting there for? I mean, we definitely know he designed some stuff like that radar system, but anything that he was like stoked for, like. It would have been impossible.
In the same way where he's not like hiding under the bed or under the covers. Where he's like waiting in anticipation, just sitting there shaking. Yeah, I don't think we had that much of that in this one. Because he has confidence behind the mask now.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
He's got a totally different strut. Like the second he
does not
Absolutely.
care. Well, he'll kill you and just like on to the next one. Just on a day's work.
Cool.
He plays it super cool.
It's like someone might be watching, so I gotta be cool.
don't want anybody to know how much
how
like
stressed
that.
out I actually am.
It's all good.
Can you imagine just a frantically panicked Jason?
Oh god, the blood got everywhere. What am I gonna do? Okay, I gotta. It's not gonna work for my setup later because I can't have them find the blood too soon before they find the body.
Yeah. Also, okay, all right, I know we've like well past this.
Yeah.
But when Debbie is in that goddamn hallway 30 seconds after Andy was killed, there would have been so much blood over that carpet and floor cutting a person directly.
Oh, yeah.
She would have slipped in the amount of viscera that would have just like slipped out of him.
Lots of viscera.
I feel like he squeegeed it, like he had it in a dustpan, and he was just like...
That's what we don't see. Anxious Jason... OCD Jason cleaning it up.
OCD Jason, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And just saying a bunch of racist shit the whole time.
Muttering under his breath.
It's terrible.
Did anything pull you out of the movie?
Is this your window scene?
Yeah, the bloody face Jason at the window at the end is so funny. It is like so funny.
He's
as
so
ridiculous
excited.
as Zombie Pamela is jumping out of the water, this is like, and maybe because it comes right after that, so it's less like jarring because that is just too funny. It's like, what's going on out there?
Yeah,
it's in broad daylight.
Expression. It's all of that, which doesn't make it.
It's like such a small town hillbilly, like.
Yeah.
If you saw, like, if it was him with the mask on and it wasn't so, like, jittery feeling, it would have been more scary. But yeah, it feels so.
It looks like he's running around looking for his mask because he doesn't feel comfortable without it.
That is Anxious Jason. That's what you're seeing right there.
That is.
Oh, God, where's my mask? Oh, I see you. What am I going to do?
And you know what? Hilarious. That's why they cut those parts normally. They're like, let's try and show him when he's nervous. No, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. He's not as scary.
Yeah, he needs to be killing somebody to be like cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, babe.
What kind of tone or vibe did it have? 3D
camp. Again, a 3D tone. Yes.
3D camp summertime vibes.
I would. Yeah,
Balk time vibes.
This was the campiest of them, I think.
Yeah, and it wasn't even.
This was the first one that wasn't even a camp.
Right. Yeah.
Good.
Is there anything about this movie that is unusual for the genre?
No.
I mean, I guess in this one, in its own mythology, this is the first one that's at a house and not at a camp.
Not at a camp. It's unusual for its own formula.
Camp genre?
Yeah.
But, no, not particularly.
Yeah, nothing too fancy.
Only thing is 3D, and that's more of a fad within the genre. So, yeah, it's fine. What is the message of this movie?
3D rules.
God, there's so many.
3D is amazing, and just literally don't go anywhere around.
If you're watching
Crystal Lake, most of Crystal Lake.
Yeah,
like the first two were like just stay the fuck out of the campgrounds, and now it's just
even if it's feeding the lake,
whatever
you're at.
Anything. Yeah. He's working his way. He's walking the perimeter.
Was this a setting you're familiar with? We've covered this before. It's not a camp this time, but there's really nothing else to say.
House in the Woods?
Not familiar with all that 3D.
House on the lake in the woods, yeah. More so than I've been to a camp.
Yeah.
So I guess we're a little bit closer to understanding, but otherwise.
Okay. Last 6 in 6D.
Whoa.
Yeah, but you didn't know it could do that.
Didn't.
Now you do. Villain level 1 through 10. All right, this first one I'm willing to give like a good one for, because there's still some issues with it. It's all sneak kills, but visually, once you get the hawk, it can't stop.
The hawk elevates it. Now we can start talking about the hawk.
Dude, it's so good. It's that hawk. That hockey mask is so good. He's a 10.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hawk,
okay.
Not the hawk.
Thank you.
I mean, the hawk is on point. Yeah. I mean, God, just the look. Man, he may not be efficient 1-on-1 if you know he's coming, but like, God, he is a 10 for me in this.
But movie. If you don't know he's coming, he'll kill you.
He'll kill the fuck out of you.
I think I could kill people if you didn't know I was coming.
I mean, that's.
But would you want to?
Like 90%
of it.
I'm
not really into. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
seems pretty easy.
You just are good at hiding and sneaking around,
mumbling
being a 6 foot something man, mumbling around the woods,
mutated man,
saying racist ass shit.
Yeah.
No, it's I don't know. I think it's. I mean, this is. But my villain level on this is purely nostalgic, but it is a 10. Man.
10's
like,
cool.
Or 10's OG cool. Hockey mask, OG Hawk. Yeah, done.
I'd put it at like an 8 or 8 feels right. I was gonna say or 9, but I'd give it an 8. Is what it is.
I gave it an 8 as well. Great hawk. Great hawk
design. You give it 4 for the hawk and 4 for the rest.
Brutality,
the rest of
all of it.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, I'd even give it 5 for a hawk, 3 for the other stuff, but it still rounds out to about an 8. Yeah.
Still round about an 8.
Detroit Red Wings hawk goalie mask,
modified,
but yes, based on
Yeah, that's correct.
Inspired by.
Does this deserve a sequel? Should there be a sequel?
Yeah.
For sure. This is the first one that I'm like totally on board with.
Yeah.
On its own. Whereas like before it was like, I gotta say yes because I understand that there's a franchise coming that I hope I'm going to start liking.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell, I don't know if I finally get it, the tone now or what, but I like this one. It was a lot of fun. Would you buy the soundtrack or score on vinyl? It's going to be my first yes for one of these movies.
Yes.
Because I was listening to it when I was making my notes and putting together the script for tonight. Not only is the 80s version of the theme banging, but it's actually kind of fun. Like, it feels like you're in a Friday the 13th movie now that I know it. Like,
so you gave it a stream. That's what Ross will give any movie.
Yeah.
So you at least gave it that, and then you'll
give it at least one.
Yeah, I'll do that too. I think that's a good one.
And we know Roswell. Is anything action figure worthy?
Jason,
yeah.
That hawk. Come on.
Jason with the hawk for sure.
Jason the Hawk, absolutely.
I'd take our first Shelley when he's got his mask and he stabs him in the back.
Oh my god!
The one where you'd be this way if you look like this or whatever.
I want here's the first time I want interactive head crushing.
Oh yeah,
so it's like one of those eyeballs that it'll go in and out as you pop it or press it.
I do it as like a mad ball, but it's just Rick's head, so you could do the action pushing yourself, and then just shoots out.
Is there anything you want, Ross, or is that what you want
as a toy? I mean, I would say.
No,
I have one that I would want. No, there's one that I want. I would, but it's something I would have to make myself. It would be was it a Vera?
We're making all of these up. Can you buy these other ones?
but it's not a toy necessarily. It's a pencil holder, but it's Vera's face floating or body floating in the water. So it's like a little diorama that you just have a tiny pen or pencil instead of the harpoon in her eye.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. Yeah, that's a great merch. In our next question. What merch or prop would you want from the movie?
So I was like, maybe I should wait. No, I'm not going to wait.
You got to go hawk. Gotta go Hawk.
Oh yeah, Hawk.
Oh,
number
Hawk.
one.
Absolutely.
Number one, Hawk.
I
Number
put
two.
Have it with the Hawk. That'd be good. Nice.
Oh sure, yeah.
Machete and Hawk.
Great. I want Rick's head that apparently you can play with and make it pop its eye out.
I'll take that.
I'll take the real version of that.
Accordion head, Rick, done.
Mm-hmm. Take some of that weed. We didn't even touch on the scene where they think they're going to get pulled
weed.
over. They eat all the weed.
Copious amount of weed.
Oh my god. So silly. So silly.
So silly indeed. I'll take Shelly's wetsuit.
Oh,
because
I've just been wanting
surfing,
a wetsuit.
bro.
Yeah.
Just need a wetsuit.
I'm hoping one of these has a surfboard.
I think it's so ridiculous. I would totally want a bust of worm food Pamela. She's so ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I would have a busted.
Oh,
I have like a little diorama 3D like scene
Nice
of that. That'd be fun. With a funny little Jason out on the shore like
Oh, full diorama scene. I would love it. Goofy Jason. You can put him in the house, in the window, or out front. The woman that played Pamela that jumps out at the end was like some, second assistant something on the set, but she still has the gross ass mask she wore.
Oh, cool.
Whenever the documentary was that she was talking in.
Oh, that's awesome. I fucking love that.
Last, certainly not least, what would you do at the midnight showing? People throw stuff, yell stuff. You guys come up with some things? I have a few.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Mine are pretty much, not all related to 3D, but mostly that's where they come from. I had this for another one. Yeah. You could pretty much choose which moment you want to do this, but the whole audience goes, oh, wow. I don't know, the juggling, let's say, or the popcorn.
Oh, wow. Every time there's a blatant 3D moment.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I was thinking of specific ones for 3D moments. So you have the juggling contest. You can make something there. Let's say, oh, wow. The popcorn, you could say, everybody yells Orville Redenbacher something. I don't know. Orville Redenbacher, my balls. The joint, you got to do you want to hit this man, or yell something out for the joint,
or
pretend to grab it and take it and say thanks man, yo eyeball, all of them. Apply oh wow, or come up with your own thing, but you got to do stuff for all the big 3D moments. And then my other one, I did have one more, is when the our hippie character walks to the outhouse. He's just walking in silence, and he's saying a very stereotypical hippie voice, go, I gotta go to the bathroom, man.
I love it.
Man. Okay, I would do not real weed, but fake modeling flock or something like that when they're all trying to eat weed. So just throwing weed at the screen before they get pulled over. I thought about doing anything with the barn. I thought just throwing hay up in the air, maybe during the 2 biker kills, I thought would be hilarious, or when they're playing around with hay. Just get everything really hay. So if you have hay fever, that would probably be really bad.
Hey. I get it.
Hey, I got it.
I was going to say, when Andy gets cut in half, everyone has a turkey wishbone that they rip in half and then throw at the screen.
Woof. Yes.
Just to get a little bit visceral.
Yeah.
Yuck indeed, but that's all I had.
Great. Love it.
I mean, shy of that, there's the the one that wouldn't work, but I would love to see hilariously, would be when was it Chris knocks the entire bookshelf from the second story onto Jason, who's on the floor. If you just, the second the bookshelf goes down, everyone just hucks books at Jason.
Dope.
Booking it.
Well, that was great. I think that's a great bookend to our 666 questions. And now it's time to get into our ratings. Let's go ahead and cut off our fingers on this show. We rate our movies on a Chuddle scale. We cut off 1 finger up to 5 fingers, down to 0 fingers, however we want to cut, but it's got to be in halves or fulls. And we do it on a system based on what?
5 categories of engaging, sticky, t-shirtable, cockles, and rewatchable.
That is absolutely right. Thank you. On this one, I would like to start with Bryan.
Wow, I can't believe you did that to me.
I wanted you to go, Huh?
Oh, fuck. My catch mark. Huh?
My catch mark?
Oh, god damn it, my catch mark.
All right.
Got stuck again.
On my catch mark. Engaging. I was pretty engaged with this one. I enjoyed it. I certainly had a lot of fun watching it. I wasn't really pulled out much, so I gave it a 1. I think it fully engaged me. Sticky. I do remember, and it's primarily because of the 3D aspect, but I remember a lot to this movie because I think of that. So it gets a full 1 for that, just because it's probably most watched, but a lot more. T-shirtable, you gotta have a 1. I mean, it's got the hawk. We got our first hawk. It's respect for the hawk.
Full
you can
hawk.
have a hawk 8 different ways on a T-shirt, and it's good. So
not even full hawk. We really only get like the last act, right? Like when he's revealed and everything.
Well,
I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
I'm with it. I'm just saying, like, we really only get it like a third of the movie ish. Last 30 minutes.
T-shirtable 1. So that's what I said. 1 there with the hawk. Cockles gets a 0.5. I was feeling it. I liked it. It was making me feel good, but I don't know. Ultimately, it kind of almost comes back to this. It was either between this or Sticky. Of like, I almost remember aspects of the 3D more than other things of the movie. And
yeah, totally.
Didn't make me feel whatever. And rewatchable gets a 0.5 as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's one I'll go back to more than certainly 1 or 2. But there's still, again, others in the series that I would go to much quicker. Not saying that I wouldn't want to, but 0.5. 0.5. 1, 2, 3. That's a 4.
Gets you 4 out of 5. Yeah, that's solid. That's your highest score yet on the Friday the 13th films. Let's go ahead and toss us over to the big old posticle rosticle. Show us your fingers.
All right. Yeah, engaging. Full 1 for engaging.
Mm-hmm.
Even after watching this movie 1,000 times, it is engaging every time that I watch it. Sticky. It is definitely sticky. It is definitely T-shirtable.
Ooh.
My cockles were just fully enraptured the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's definitely rewatched. This is a 5. This is a solid 5 for me.
Big old 5.
This is when we're getting in big old 5. This is when we're getting into like prime time Jason Voorhees. And I'm in it to win it pretty much every single time.
Well, good job. Way to cut off all your fingers. I have not ranked this. I haven't done this yet, so we'll see where it goes. Obviously, I've said it. I like this more than the first 2. And I actually watched this 4 times before doing this, but I started early right after we did 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're supposed to watch it 3
or right
times.
after we did 2, I watched it, and I've just kind of, I had a bunch of weeks there to watch it at my leisure.
All over it.
So, engaging. That is a full 1. Sticky? I'm going to go 0.5 on Sticky. I think what I'm going to remember is the 3D stuff and the 3D-ness of it and the fun. And I think it's going to be kind of reverse of you, Brian, where I'm going to go higher in the cockles, whereas you took down cockles because you were giving it all to Sticky.
Yeah.
Get those sticky cockles. So, T-shirtable. I'm going to go 1 there too. We get the hawk. Do you know we can't hear you?
No. Didn't know that.
we get the hawk. the character design, and it's the one I like the most. The 3D-ness of it makes it fun, even just the poster and knowing it's in 3D, whatever. There's a bunch of different reasons that this one gets full 1 for T-shirtable. Cockles, I'm going full cockles as well, because it really just, the campiness of this one, we said it was at a higher level, or it just hit right for me on this one. I finally was starting to get it, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So it just really worked there. I would say mine were milk dry and rewatchable. That is going to be a 0.5. It's so far of them, it's the only one I would watch on its own if I wasn't watching all of them.
Sure.
And that gives it a 4 for me as well, which I wasn't expecting it to get that high, but hey, the fingers doth say. Now it's time for the last 2 in 2D.
Oh, pretty.
Oh. Is this the written exam part of the?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This you got. We're just gonna be quiet, and you all can read.
We're gonna have quiet time.
Yeah,
quiet time.
This part where we talk about the average score. If it was high enough to get in the Chuddle Club Crypt, it needs an average score of 4 or higher. And you bet with 2 4s and a 5, it certainly did. Look at that. We finally have a Friday 13th movie in there.
Nice.
Nice.
4.3 repeating.
Yeah, part 2 was a 2.5.
And then a D.
And part 1 was a 2.83, so...
Damn, significantly higher. 4.3D. All right. Now is the time where I'm supposed to have a would you rather question. Would you rather spend a night alone in the cabin where Jason Voorhees famously donned his iconic hockey mask, or spend a night alone in the barn where Chris Higgins was attacked by Jason in the film? I'd rather stay the night in a cabin because then I'm not staying the night in a barn.
Agree.
Yeah, I would say. Also, I mean, there's a lot of murder that happens in the cabin, but there's also a lot of murder that happens in the barn, and there's less hiding spots in the barn.
Sure. That makes sense. Okay, cabin. I got this one's pretty good. The one Ava came up with. Would you rather spend a night at the infamous Camp Crystal Lake, knowing that Jason Voorhees is lurking around, or spend a night in a haunted house with the ghost of Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mother?
Whoa.
Yeah, right?
Damn.
Haunted house. I would do haunted house with Pamela Voorhees, because at least from that I can leave the next day.
It depends. Do I know Jason's lurking
what kind
around?
of ghost is it?
Right.
Because if I know he's there, I'll be all right.
That's what you got to play with. That's what you're going with here. You're going into the unknown. I think I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna forget he's there. I'm gonna get killed.
Oh fuck! I forgot.
Oh shit! I freaking forgot.
You're just gonna be like hanging out, having a good time. Oh, fuck! I forgot. And then you freak out, and then you forget again. You start doing something else. You keep remembering. That'd be fun. I'm gonna go with Jason. With Jason.
I think I might go with Ghost, because Ghost can't really. In most ghost lore, it depends on what type of ghost I'm dealing with too. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that you're going into the extra unknown.
But it doesn't say poltergeist; it said ghost.
See, if I'm going into Crystal Lake knowing ahead of time Jason Voorhees is lurking around.
I agree.
Well, that's what it says. Would you rather spend a night at the infamous Camp Crystal Lake knowing that Jason Voorhees
then definitely
is lurking
I'm going
around?
Crystal Lake.
Yeah, me too.
No.
Yes, because if you know about him, you can
not going
beat
to forget
him based
Ross.
on so far. Yeah, we'll remember.
Maybe.
You go get killed by a ghost.
Dude, you'd be on edge all night. Like, you'd have a...
You wouldn't in a haunted house?
With a ghost? You'd be chilling. Look, you'd be chilling.
No.
We'd just be chilling.
All I'm picturing is Pamela Voorhees. All right, so if, like, from part 2, like, the weird apparition, ghosty, just illuminated face.
Yeah.
That's all I'm picturing, just showing up and talking to me.
It's trying to tell you. That's not what it is.
When it's the zombie one that pops out of the canoe and starts stabbing you to death, you'll wish you had come to the lake.
They start off
and
with
remember
that,
Jason was around.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, man. I forgot, man.
All right, so Sam and I are going to Crystal Lake. You're going to the house on Haunted Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. The house on... No, wait.
No, too late. Well, that was a fun one, gentlemen. Thank you for continuing this journey through the franchise with me. Franchise the 13th. If you made it this far, it would be awesome if you could rate us real quick in whatever app you're listening to, review it. Again, please tell your friends. That would really help us out a lot. Again, if you want to check out anything else related to us, go down to the show notes for this episode. And until next time...